Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Cameron Gallagher, and today we're going to be talking about a little couple tricks on music for your films, as well as how to do some composition for a title sequence. So this is the opening scene, well, technically the opening scene, to my upcoming film, Six Below, which you can check out. It's on Kickstarter, Indiegogo. Those are the funding places, and we also have Facebook and Instagram for it. So go ahead and check that out. But now after that shameless plug, no. But so the problem is composing is very expensive. It can be for a feature film upwards of $50,000. Even cheaper composers will still charge possibly up to $5,000. So it's not easy. But then again, it's not cheap to buy the equipment that's needed to create music for a film, obviously, as most of us know. So what I decided to do was try something a little bit different, a little more unique. I thought, how can I easily make music? Now, granted, I do have a background in music. I play piano, guitar, drums, so I do know a lot of instruments. But I wanted to see me with music knowledge, and could I, and also someone who doesn't really have a lot of music knowledge, how could I make music for the film? Because, you buy a lot of these stock film music, and they're okay, but a lot of them, they don't sound, they obviously don't fit your picture because your film does different things that, doesn't happen in that music. Maybe there's a stab hit for something scary and whatever. So I came with this idea of what if I used a free program? Well, unfortunately on the computer, there's not many free programs that are easy and intuitive, but I do have an iPad. So I thought, what if I used my iPad? So what did I do? I used Garageband for the iPad. That is right. Garageband for the iPad, which is totally free. Now, obviously, you have to have an iPad or an iPhone to get Garageband, but it is free. I think I guarantee there are apps on Android that are the same, but I'm just giving you an idea of how easy it is. So GarageBand is probably the easiest way to make music for free. So obviously, as you can see I don't have recording on my iPad set up right now, but basically it's just instruments. You have your piano, you can do different types of pianos. And the best part is, so if you're someone like me who knows music, you know how to play a piano, you can sit down and literally play pianos and just, layer it. If you're someone that doesn't know, you can actually set scales. So if you're like, okay, well, I want and you try them. There's minor pentatonics and major pentatonics and all these different kinds of scales. Then you just click the buttons and sort of just go with what you like, and it's trial and error. You can record straight into it. There's guitars, but you can mix and record right there, which to me, this is huge. You can make up to 32 tracks. I mean, that's something that a truly, big budget studio would have. So I think that's awesome. And then it's very easy, as it says, to just share with one tap. You can easily send to iTunes or send to wherever. I emailed it to myself. So anyway, that's what I used. But going back to what I did, so I wanted to make a basic one. This is very simple. This isn't, this took me 10 minutes maybe. But just goes to show you. And I did it without the piano. I did it with the scales to prove that you didn't have to know how to play piano. So I did this. Anyone else could figure this out. All you have to do is know how to keep time with the metronome. But that's very simple. So anyway, kind of give you a listen to how the music sounds. Hopefully it's not too loud here. So it's very simple. It's just a synth style bass underneath. There's like a cello in there. There's just a really ambient piano, very legato, all that sort of, very nice slow sounding music. And it's very simple, but it does the job, and it cost me nothing, and it took me 10 minutes. So if you're someone who knows more about music, or you're learning about music, and you can sit down and really start hashing this out, you could truly compose an entire film's music with this. And that's what we're going to try to do, because it's a low budget film, and we can't afford that. So we want to try that, and we're going to send off to film festivals that way. But I also want to talk about our titles here and how we did that. So let me go in and I'll show you what our titles look like. So basically our titles, I made them in Photoshop, and it's as simple as this. I mean, this is just as simple as it gets, right? So what I did was I liked Trajan Pro, which is the text. Granted, obviously it's, whatever the project. But I centered it. I made it about what I wanted it relative to each other. So I made directed by relative to Cameron Gallagher the way I wanted it to. Then what I did is, as you can see, let me play this through and you can see how we shot this. So you can see right here, I shot in the thirds knowing that I was going to put those titles over there. So it's one of those things you want to shoot knowing where you're going to have the titles, so that way you can make space for it. So as you can see, I shot with the thirds, so as he's walking, and we create these vanishing points with this, which helps our eyes, it helps compose the entire frame better. We have these railroad tracks creating vanishing points far away as he's walking towards us. And we have this negative space here that then we fill with the text. Granted, I probably would want to darken this a little bit so you can see directed by, a little better. And then if we skip ahead, you can see for this shot right here. Now this shot was sort of incidental, and I wanted a shot where he was walking and we had the caution tape. Again, we set more vanishing points and we left negative space. So we have him up here, we have the railroad, we have that vanishing point, very similar to the police do not cross tape, and we have that nice negative space that I knew we could fill. Granted, this was kind of a mistake. We originally planned it where it would be underneath the tape, but we just couldn't get it in the location we were at, so we put it above, but I ended up liking the shot better. So anyway, this looks really nice. And then if we go on, we have Pete, who is our main actor. And again, very simple. I gave him headroom, which is just good, composition, cinematography as it is. Gave him some headroom, and then just his name. And then we have this nice shot, same thing. They look up as he's walking. Now, the big thing you want to keep in mind is that this all needs to flow. It needs to make sense. He's walking, there he's going, okay. Again, we put our actress's name here in the negative space. We allowed for that. Now, granted, we had this hill, so it kind of made for a nice negative space. But it's one of those things where when you're designing a title scene, you want to remember that. And then the last one, this one was actually... This wasn't supposed to be a title, but here's the funny part. So we shot this shot, and there was no easy way for him to walk down the hill. It was really difficult. It was really steep, and there wasn't really a good spot that he could walk down with us being able to pan from the railroad down there to see where it was. So it's kind of funny because he's having to walk, and if I play it, he's kind of having to walk really slow, and he has to make sure he doesn't fall. So I thought it took away from our character looking very strong and in control to now he's suddenly kind of tiptoeing through so he doesn't fall. So what I did to distract you from that is thankfully I shot with negative space. Not really negative space because it's for the body. But what I did was, because I shot that way, I could easily put the text in here for the third credit. So that's another cool trick that you can cover up shots that maybe didn't come out exactly the way you wanted it to, and that you couldn't get around. You can cover it up with extra titles. Not something you want to do as a plan, but it's something that we figured out afterward. So those are just some little tips on music and on text and how you can easily make a really nice set of credits, and also how you can make music basically for free. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to like and share and subscribe. And I'm going to keep making these quick tip videos very often. I know this wasn't super quick, but I'm going to try to make a video, maybe 1 to 2 videos each week that are quick tips about it. So hope you guys enjoyed and have a good one.